He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. William saw straight through her. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. With Harry apparently gone missing, and this one's wife being quieter than usual, simply pumping out videos and posts on the As Ever site, demonstrating that apparently there are people that have purchased her products, mainly flour sprinkles, and wanting the world to know about it, it would appear that the press are having to look to the past with regard to seeking out those clicks and views concerning this one's wife. Page 6 reports in respect of a belief held about Prince William that he saw straight through this one's wife. As reported by Tamantha Ryan, Prince William saw right through this one's wife alleged plan to become rich and famous by marrying his younger brother, Prince Harry, a royal biographer claimed. After Queen Elizabeth II's cousin and closest confidant, Lady Elizabeth Anson, claimed the late monarch was apprehensive about the Duchess of Sussex's intentions, royal journalist and commentator Phil Dampier alleged the Prince of Wales was sceptical about this one's wife entering the royal family. I think, unfortunately, that confirms what I've been saying, or thought, for the last few years, that sadly, this one's wife never really had any intention of staying in the royal family, Dampier told The Sun, referencing Anson's comments. She saw it as a stepping stone, getting married to Harry, a stepping stone to new fame and fortune, and I think that's what initially Prince William was concerned about, he alleged. Dampier claimed that the siblings fell out because of William's feelings about this one's wife, and now we are where we are, but to have this confirmed by somebody so close to the Queen is really dynamite, he said. However, a source fired back at the author's claims, telling Page 6, the opinions of Mr. Dampier are just that, opinions. They are completely without merit and not grounded in fact. There is no way Mr. Dampier nor anyone at the Sun newspaper could possibly know what the Duchess's intentions were or are about anything. Well, it might be the case that that retort is accurate with regard to Mr. Dampier and the Sun not knowing what her intentions are. But as a consequence of understanding that this one's wife is a narcissist, and understanding the dynamic between her and a normal, such as Prince William, we are actually able to work out what her intentions were and why he was able to see through her. This one's wife is a narcissist, which is demonstrated by the considerable evidence that exists demonstrating her narcissism, subconsciously pursues the prime aims, as I repeatedly explained to you to drum home that message. This is her operating system. She doesn't know it, but everything that she does in relation to other people and the potential interaction with other people is governed by the pursuit of one or more of the prime aims. Accordingly, if it was the case that she did not intend to stay in the royal family, her narcissism caused her to form such a decision based upon the necessity of control, fuel, character traits, and residual benefit. Her narcissism undoubtedly would have seen the criticism, the justified criticism for the most part, that she received as a threat to control. It also would have seen the fact that she was repeatedly told no by courtiers and criticised by members of the royal family, undoubtedly behind the scenes because of her attempts to change protocol and convention, as a threat to control. And because she wasn't able to assert control directly over these things, ultimately her narcissism told her, you need to withdraw, and I'm getting rid of you. That is what her narcissism would have caused her to think, because then it would be her decision to depart in her head, even if she was kicked out. And therefore it would give her a sense of control. A quick example of that is, let's say the narcissist calls round at your house. This is a Hoover, a physical Hoover. He calls round to talk to you. He thinks he's doing it because he wants to discuss with you the fact that you've ended the relationship, and therefore he thinks that there are things that need to be sorted out. The real reason that he's doing it, although he doesn't know this because he's an unaware narcissist, is he needs to nullify the threat to control posed by you ending the relationship. So the narcissism motivates him, under the auspices of, we're going to sort this out, to come round and hoover you in person. However, you don't answer the door because you have been well schooled by a certain H.G. Tudor in how to deal with the narcissist. The narcissist knocks on the door. He rings the doorbell. He keeps trying to assert control directly. The victim doesn't respond. He shouts through the letterbox. There's no response. Ultimately, his narcissism recognizes that these failures to respond to his overtures are wounding and therefore will cause him to stop. This is because the narcissism is a self-defense mechanism. In this instance, he's not able to move to the indirect assertion of control by smearing the victim to somebody else. And therefore, the narcissism then has to move to the third assertion of control, withdrawal. And it causes the narcissist to think, fuck her, I didn't want to talk to her anyway, she's nuts. Which, of course, is a complete contradiction because why was he there in the first place? But the compartmentalization that takes place with the narcissist allows the narcissist in that precise moment to decide, I don't want anything to do with her, which then gives the narcissist that subconscious sense of control. So similarly with this one's wife, whilst it is well rumoured that she was kicked out of the royal family, her narcissism would have caused her to believe that she was the one that was in control by deciding, I'm leaving. She would have also determined her decision to depart as allowing her to access the residual benefit of commercialising and monetising her time in the royal family. William, as a normal, wouldn't experience the emotional thinking that ordinarily people experience in relation to the addiction that occurs with certain people that are ensnared by narcissists. Now, a normal can experience emotional thinking, but not on the same scale as, say, an empathic individual would. And in the circumstances, given the fact that he's a normal and that he was more distant to this one's wife, that gave him clarity, that he could see the speed at which the relationship was moving was problematic, and this caused him to suspect that her intentions were not altogether genuine and based upon wanting to be with Harry and being in the royal family. Instead, his concern, being able to see things more clearly as a normal, was that she was actually utilising Harry for her own benefit. And indeed, his suspicions have proven to be true, because what has she done since? Departed the royal family and then sought to monetize her title because she's never given it up. She continues to cling to it, she continues to use it, and she continues to leverage off her royal connection with the faux royal tours that have taken place in Colombia and Nigeria, and utilization of this status as a narcissist would enjoy in order to continue to pursue those residual benefits. Normals can be ensnared by narcissists, but they tend to rail against it much sooner because they are less affected by emotional thinking. They see it for what it is and essentially form the view, I'm not being treated like this, I'm not putting up with this behaviour, you can fuck that shit sky high. And they can get drawn in, but often when the sustained devaluation occurs, when they are an intimate partner primary source, unlike empathic victims who are heavily affected by the addiction and emotional thinking, they tend to see it much more clearly and decide, no, I'm out. And therefore, similarly with William, he, not only because he cares about his brother, but also because he could see her behaviour with a greater clarity than Harry could, recognised that she wasn't approaching the matter with any genuine desire to be part of the royal family, but that she was self-serving. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.